Let's talk about SUI and SOL, guys, and which one I think can outperform the other for the upcoming highly anticipated bull run of 2025 slash 2026, if it's going to be spilling over into that period. But let's talk about SUI at the moment, guys, and where it is. So it's currently sitting at around about the $3.30 mark with a relatively modest market cap of just shy of 12 billion. So it still has quite a lot of room to grow, but we have seen SUI absolutely go crazy over the last couple of years. Again, back here sitting at around the 600 million market cap, and then we've seen the likes of it go all the way up to nearly 15 billion, a little bit way off from where we are, but it does show you that SUI has got a lot of potential. So SUI is a coin which I have a very, very small allocation in, but I would like to start to build a stronger position in it. I was building positions in other coins that I've been trying to for a while now, but I think now is a decent time to start to get into SUI comparatively to where I think it can go. And when we look at Solana, again, I've mentioned on this before, I've been in Solana for a while now. Back in 2023, made quite a lot of mistakes back in 2022, not buying in, etc. But managed to accumulate some coins now, and obviously not as many as what I would have, otherwise I'd be a millionaire. But when we're here, we see Solana. It's currently sitting at just shy of 110 billion market caps, all right? So there's a spark difference between these guys. This is sitting at 11 billion and this is at 110. So a significant difference in its potential and room for growth. But before we jump into that, guys, quick disclaimer here. Please read this with care. This video is not financial advice. Crypto is volatile and highly risky. No results are guaranteed. This content is for experienced users only, and there's a full legal disclaimer in the description below. So, SUI kind of reminds me of the baby of SOL. So we talk about this, there's a lot of narrative around SUI and SOL, which we'll jump into in a bit, but I think it's really interesting that we're seeing that there's a shareholder meeting coming up to raise $500 million for the SUI's treasury, and I think it's crazy when you think about it for a coin with a market cap that it has and the amount of money that it can actually put together. Like 500 million is an unbelievable amount of money that a crypto project is putting together to fund their treasury. And I just want to ask the question, like, what other cryptos are doing this at the moment or actually have done this? And I would say that it's really not going to be that many at all. 500 million gives SUI a large capital base for fund growth and ecosystem initiative. It definitely sparks its ability to grow, diversify, and test a lot of new things. And this investor participation signals confidence in the project's long-term potential. So these people are not going to be trying to raise this money for a cause, and in this case a coin, a blockchain, if they didn't think that it had a potential to actually perform, do what it's planned to do, and realistically make them some money. And like I said, this is another really positive thing, because when people are seeing projects which are raising funds, it often attracts a lot of developers and support projects, because that's showing that it's a growing market and this is very good for them. And again, it's kind of like a snowball effect. This shows its potential and a lot of positive narrative. And again, the last point is that it boosts market perception and draws attention from traders and media, which is really positive for a crypto project. You want a lot of media attention, and especially positive one from high profile individuals and things like that. So for me, when it comes to, I think this is really positive and a green tick for SUI at the moment. All right, let's get into the next point. I wanted to show you this. I saw this on Twitter, and this was very recently, and I thought it was quite funny because it was the fact that I've seen back in the peak of 2021. I don't know if you guys were around back then, and there was all this stuff about Hex and the taxis that they had. They were doing all the advertisement back then, and that is, I think, why it played into the price performance that I had back then. But it's really interesting to see a coin actively promote in real life, not rather than just online. And we see it in somewhere like here, the Nasdaq exchange, in a very, very expensive place. Like a billboard around this area would cost an absolute significant amount of money to be able to put up there, and it shows you the likes of these guys have a lot of money and they're not prepared to spend it in order to help the project grow and it to realistically make a return on investment and really develop into a top altcoin and ecosystem that can thrive in the cryptocurrency space. So the next part I also wanted to mention is Raoul Pal. I know a lot of you guys probably may know of him. He talks a lot about SUI and how it's the Solana killer and how it's going to outperform. And to be honest with you, I do think he's right from this prediction. I do think at the moment SUI outperforms Sol just due to the fact of where we are in the market, guys. We see Solana, we've seen how much it's grown back from, around the $20 mark to the $200 mark. The market cap has grown exponentially, and then we look at something like SUI, we see where it is. It's got the narrative at the moment, it's got all the big backers, it's got the funds, and it's got this going on, very low market cap. And for me, I think it shows there's a lot of potential going on. There's so many really, really positive things, and I do think that from this point onwards, SUI will outperform Sol, and that's not because of the fact that SUI is better or worse, for example. It's just basically based on where we currently are in the market and, its potential. And I also want to show you this as well, and I think this has kind of been not really spoken about very much, but this is very recently, and this is the fact that we've seen the Sol versus SUI narrative, and how at the moment there's a little bit of a flip in the narrative in terms of the stable coin transfer volume. This is really, really good for a lot of the SUI holders out there, because they want obviously SUI to perform and outperform Solana, and when you have a narrative of, oh, one coin's better than the other, I think that drives a lot of attention, and that's really, really positive for both coins, because they talk about press and there'll be more articles written on them, so it bolsters a lot of attention and positive press. But for me, really, really positive to see that we're seeing the stablecoin transfer volume on SUI outperform Solana. And you might think, well, this doesn't really matter, but it's really, really important, guys, because SUI hasn't been around anywhere near as long as Solana. It's nowhere near as well established in terms of ETFs and all these kind of things, although there's a lot of really, really good things going on with SUI. And the fact that we are now starting to see more volume indicates that people are actively using the blockchain, they're using the coin, and they're seeing an actual use case, because everyone knows Solana and how fast it is and how good the ecosystem is. I'm sure if any of you guys have ever used Solana or have ever sold it or ever sent it to someone or used anything on the chain, you know how fast it is. In my opinion, it's the fastest blockchain, especially out of all the ones that I've used. So the fact that we're now seeing SUI start to overtake Solana, even if it doesn't continue, I think this is really, really bullish for SUI, guys. It's showing that people want to use it and are actively using it. There's a lot of hype and people are actively doing it. So I think for me, this is really, really positive for you guys. So yeah, I just want to show you that. It's really, really positive. It's reached 4.45 billion, whereas Solana 4.3 billion. So again, a little difference, but these things, they all add up. And the next thing, like I mentioned before with the battle of narratives, in this case, I don't really think it matters. This post doesn't matter at all, but it's just the point of when you have two narratives and you get loads of people talking about something, it helps both sides. Yes, you'll be haters, people will be like, Sol is better than SUI and whatever, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, we want a narrative, we want people to speak about it, we want media attention for these coins, we want eyeballs on it, because when that happens, people are more likely to get involved, more invested, to pick a side, etc., more of a story, right? So for me, guys, really, really positive to see we're seeing this, and it shows that why I think that SUI from now on can overtake Sol. So yeah, thank you very much and have a good one.